The pediatricians from Kolhapur and Dr. Ashok Chowgure. I hope you are all able to hear me.
Yeah, yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
And start sharing my screen. Is my screen seen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. And I'm audible and I'm visible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, I'll start this presentation with a story. I'll start this. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll start this presentation with a story. You know what we normally feel at meningococcal disease, and is very uncommon. Meningococcemia is very uncommon, and meningitis is not really seen due to meningitis. Okay, Neisseria meningitis. But I'll just share one story with you. You know, I happened to see one patient who narrated me a very shocking story. This was about, say, 10 to 15 years ago, when he told me that, doctor, can this happen? And he started telling me a story of a girl who's about 13 years of age. She was the only daughter of the parents. The father was working on a very good post in the State Bank of India in Bombay. And he was transferred to London to take over as the manager of State Bank of India in London. They boarded the flight in Bombay airport, and she was absolutely fine when they boarded the flight. But the girl took ill to such an extent that before the flight could land at Heathrow in London, she was quite bad. And the crew decided that we have to inform the airport authorities in London that we are carrying a very sick 13-year-old girl, and she needs to be taken directly from the flight as soon as it lands to a very important or a very well-equipped hospital in London. All the arrangements were made and she was admitted in one of the finest hospitals which had all the tertiary care facilities in London. She was treated there for about 48 hours, after which she was declared dead, and the postmortem gave a report of Waterhouse-Friderichsen syndrome. And she was a girl who was diagnosed as meningococcemia and acute adrenal failure. Now, this was a story narrated to me, and I said, yes, this can happen. This has been said in the books. I have heard about this during my undergraduate days when I did my pharmacology, and this is how meningococcemia can kill an apparently healthy child and adolescents within a few hours. Now, remember, this was such a shocking experience for the parents that the father said that I only went to London to lose my daughter. Now, this is a real story, and I'm sure all of us as practicing pediatricians also know that, there are certain patients whom we treat, and we find that they unexpectedly, somehow, for some reason or the other, we lose them even in the ICU in the best of setups. Now, remember, this can happen. This is not very, very common, but when it happens, you are shattered. So what I want to say is that meningococcemia is not very common. But absence of evidence does not mean absence of disease. And we need to understand that we should be able to prevent this sort of an unfortunate thing, which is extremely rare. And I believe that it is important for us to take an overview of what is the situation of this Neisseria meningitis in our country. Okay. So during the next half an hour or so, I will be taking you to the journey of this very strange, very severe, and a very life-threatening experience which can shatter any clinician and parent. And the agenda for the next half an hour would be the global epidemiology of invasive meningococcal disease, the pattern and usage of meningococcal vaccine, then understanding invasive meningococcal disease epidemiology in our country, then reviewing the scientific studies of the two available vaccines, that is the Menectra and the one produced by the GSK, then comparative studies and their significance, and what is the best fit for Indian subcontinent with age specificity. If you look at invasive meningococcal disease globally, there are the different patterns of sero. Remember, there are a lot of serogroups. There are 12 serogroups, but of them, 6 are known to cause major outbreak. And out of them, 4 are available in the quadrivalent vaccines that are available to all of us. Now remember, the serogroup distribution changes over a period of time. It changes in various geographic regions. And what we need to really concentrate is what is the situation in our own country. Now, countries have implemented this vaccination program as per the best fit requirement. What is the best fit requirement? It should have serogroup specificity. That means we should be able to protect our population against a serogroup which is most prevalent in the area where we practice. Then we should target the age group for vaccination strategies. Now the age groups that in our country are 2. One is children between 9 months to 2 years of age, and the adolescents, and the immunogenicity of the vaccine. So these are the 3 important factors when we decide what is the best fit requirement and what is the best fit vaccine that should be given to our population. Now, meningococcal vaccine, serogroup specificity and target age population. If you review the world literature or the world scenario, in the United States, the serogroup B and C is common, and there is a routine immunization against B and C in infants. So if you find any patient who has come from UK, you will find that he has received MenB, that is the vaccine against serogroup B. In the United States, the serogroup B, C, and Y are prevalent. A routine immunization against these do happen in children that are 11 and 10 years of age. In China, it is the A and the C, and the routine immunization in infants is given in this country. And in meningitis belt, which is in Africa, serogroup A is very, very important. And the vaccine that is given is serogroup A vaccine, which is given by the government in this meningitis belt in Africa. Understanding the Indian epidemiology, you can see the bar that you see, or the pink area that you see in our country. This is India, and you feel that the serogroup A is the most prevalent serogroup, though we have stray cases of serogroup C, W, and Y. So as far as we are concerned, the predominant serogroup present is serogroup A. Now, we had a lot of meningococcal outbreaks in India, and we had a lot of clinical experience dating back to 1966 when it was first seen in Delhi. Then we had an epidemic again after about 20 years. Then we had one more after 10 years of age. And we have had a lot of epidemics in Delhi, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Meghalaya, Tripura, Orissa, and AP. But most of the outbreaks have occurred in the northeast, that is Meghalaya, and in Delhi. And most of them, we had the serogroup A that was prevalent. Now, please remember, outbreaks definitely occur, but that also means there are some cases which do occur and we do not probably report them. So there is some amount of meningococcemia that occurs in our day-to-day practice also. But please remember, we have no culture facilities. And meningococci are luckily very sensitive to the antibiotics that we use. For example, we use amoxiclav, we use ceftriaxone, and most of the antibiotics that we give for presumptive bacterial infections respond, and the meningococci respond to this. So very often we do have patients which we treat with high-grade fever. We make a diagnosis of bacteremia because there is a high WBC count, a raised CRP, and we give them an antibiotic, the patient responds. We used to use a lot of penicillin. All old timers, we used to use a lot of penicillin. Penicillin, the meningococci would melt with penicillin. So please remember, meningococcal disease does exist. Absence of evidence is because we do not have cultures, and we do get outbreaks which can shatter the whole country at times. So it's very important for us to know that meningococci do exist. The outbreaks are something that actually makes us aware that disease is present. So serogroup A has been associated with most of the outbreaks all the time. Now the points of consideration for taking an informed choice. Now the vaccine should have serogroup A specificity protection. There should be a bots protection against other serogroups. Remember, there is an upcoming data that serogroup W and C are also causative organisms for meningococcemia. Then population centricity, that means that there should be trials which have occurred in all the parts of the country, that is the north, the northeast, the center, the south, and in the west. So it is important that the data is collected from across all populations in the country. Then the age group wherein this actually incidence occurs should be taken into consideration when you are giving the trials. And what is the experience and safety profile? Now remember, the meningitis vaccine by Sanofi was licensed for use in 2005, which is about 15 years old. So the vaccine by Sanofi is about 15 years old and has a good work has an experience and it has a very good safety profile. The safety and immunogenicity of Menectra, there is ACYW. Now, DT is the carrier protein that is used in Menectra, and there is a lot of safety and immunogenicity trial on the data available in our country. Now, Menectra has been tested in over 500 participants in India. Okay? It has been tested in the north, west, south, and it has been tested at various age groups, right from 2 to 55 years of age. And it has also been tested between less than 2 years of age and from 9 months to 2 years of age. This has been done at various parts in our country by various reputed medical colleges and institutions all over the country. And these locations of trials are available for the Indian population. So Menectra has been tested in our country for the last many years, and there have been a good number of patients who have participated in this trial. It has been done at various centers, and the immunogenicity of Menectra in adults has also been tested. And it has been found that it has induced good immunogenicity, and it is a broad spectrum coverage that is offered all across. So you'll see that in adults from 18 to 55 years of age, the immunogenicity is very high to the extent from 99 to 100%. So immunization was induced in almost 100% of adults. What was the experience in adolescents, that is 12 to 17 years of age? The same broad spectrum of protection was offered to all across the serogroups, and it was found that immunogenicity was induced in almost 96 to 100% of participants belonging to the adolescent group. It was also tested in children between 2 to 11 years of age, and the experience with has been more or less the same. So the immunogenicity was almost more than 90 to 100%. So this is one vaccine which has been tested all across the country, across all the age groups, and the immunogenicity that was induced for more than 90%, which is a very satisfactory protection that it gives to the population across all age groups. The immunogenicity of Menectra in Indian population from 2 to 15, so 92 to 100% achieving protective titers, and this is the experience of all the trials that were done across in our country. There is another vaccine that is using the CRM protein as the carrier, and this is manufactured by GSK. This has come into the world about 5 years later. This was licensed for use in 2010. The Menectra was licensed for use in 2005, and there were various immunogenicity trials that were done in Indian population. Now, please remember, there are no trials of this vaccine in children below 2 years of age, and it was tested for all the serotypes, that is A, C, W, and Y, and it was found out that it also gives protection. It is non-inferior, but the protection it offers against the serotype A is not as good as it is offered by the Menectra. Now, a word about invasive meningococcal disease and what is the pattern of occurrence. As I told you that there is a bimodal age stratification, which means that the first peak occurs in infants and children. Now, it is important for us to protect this population between 9 months to 2 years, because the first peak occurs in infants and children, and the second peak occurs in adolescents. And the vaccine should cater to both the peaks. It is clearly known that there are no trials in the Indian population for the CRM protein manufactured by GSK, and it is only Menectra that has been tested in children below 2 years of age. And that's why the DCGI has given approval only for Menectra for use in children below 2 years. The immunogenicity of Menectra in Indian children also studied between 9 to 17 months for Menectra. It was found that after the second dose, almost 99% of children achieve seroprotection across all 4 serogroups, that is A, C, Y, and W. There was a comparison of safety and immunogenicity of investigation and licensed quadrivalent vaccine in children 2 to 10 years of age in US and Canada, and it was found that it has also given a very good protection. Then a similar trial was also carried out with the CRM protein. And the CRM protein, but you know what, it was found that the protection by the CRM protein was not as good as the Menectra for the serogroup A, and it did pass the non-inferiority trial, but the protection against serogroup A was a little inferior to that protected by Menectra. And please remember, we are more worried about the serogroup A that is prevalent in our country. That is why Menectra scores over the other competitive brand can be used below 2 years of age its efficacy and seroprotection in serogroup A is a little better than what it is with the CRM protein. Remember, it's a vaccine that has been into the market 5 years later, and the data that is available for Menetra is far more robust. It has been tested all across, and it has been tested in all the corners of our country. Now, informed choice of support of the vaccine, so we have a clear vaccine which is seroprotective against group A, or there is a broad spectrum of protection to all other serogroups, including C, W, and Y. Then there is a population centricity because the trials have been conducted in the north, the south, the east, and the west. Then the age group has been covered right from 9 months to 55 years of age. And there is a greater and a wider experience and safety profile because this vaccine has been into the world and experienced since 2000. There was an association of Bell's palsy that was associated with the use of GSK manufactured vaccine, but this was not found to be significant, and it was probably incidental because the vaccine was also co-administered with many other vaccines like HPV and DTaP. So this was one of the reasons why this vaccine was a little, not very well accepted. So there was no association seen in this if the vaccine was given alone. So when this vaccine was given alone, that the CRM protein manufactured by GSK, there was no association with Bell's palsy. What was the post-marketing study in the US about Menetra? More than 3 lakh doses have been used in adolescents and adults. All non-elective hospital emergency department visits. It is safe. No expected or safety concerns identified by the use of this vaccine in the United States. There are a lot of real-world effectiveness data on the duration and the protection of 1 dose. It was found that it is very good in children who have been vaccinated. This is the real-world experience, and the experience of this vaccine with all the serotypes across all the age groups, very good. And sometimes during epidemics, we sometimes do give an additional booster dose, maybe 5 years if there is an outbreak or a chance that, especially in the Northeast, to give an additional protection when there are possibilities of outbreaks in that area. The Menetra has been approved all over, and it has been approved in various countries for children from 9 months onwards and adults up to 55 years of age. And this is only pre-qualified WHO pre-qualified vaccine approved for more than 70 countries. Overall, 15 years of experience, as I told you, because it was launched as early as 2005. The other important factor in choosing this is Menetra is available as a fully liquid form in which you have all the serotype protections in a liquid. So it's easy for us as pediatricians to, just aspirate the vial and give it intramuscularly in children or the vaccine is. The other vaccine is available as a lyophilized form in a liquid form. The lyophilized form contains the Men-A serotype, and Men-CWY is in the liquid conjugate form. And what we have to do is you have to use the liquid conjugate component to dissolve the lyophilized form and give it. Now remember, as healthcare workers, we know that while giving this, sometimes we do make a mistake. Our nursing staff, the healthcare professionals can make a mistake. And it was found out that when in the US CDC search for vaccine adverse event reporting, they found that 66% received only the liquid CWY. That is, they did not get the lyophilized form, and 35% only received the lyophilized MVS. So what is likely to happen is 34% were not protected against serogroup CWY. So this is the error that can occur while giving the vaccines to the vaccinees, and that is why a single vaccine which is available in a liquid form is easy to give. So this is one more reason why it scores over the other. So the MCV for Indian subcontinent would be a serogroup A specific, broad spectrum protections against all the types, and a good protection against serogroup A, for which it has been found to be a little superior. The population centricity has been established by conducting trials. The age group that it covers is right from 9 months to 55 years of age. And there is a much wider and a longer experience and safety profile for the use of Menetra. Now, invasive meningococcal disease, what is the IAP recommendation? Now, the meningococcal conjugate vaccines was initially recommended for high-risk groups, and now the Indian Academy of Pediatrics in 2018 has reduced the minimum age group of 2 years. Now it has come to 9 months of age. So now we are justified, or we are the use of this vaccine for children at 9 months was also recommended. It's been cleared for use in children below 2 years of age. So we can recommend after completion of 9 months. So the minimum age for vaccination lowered down from 2 years to 9 years. Between 9 months to 23 months, we have to give 2 doses at the interval of 3 months. And after 2 years to 55 years, a single dose is what is required. But please remember, when there are epidemics, especially in the Northeast, and we all know that there's a lot of migration that goes on in our country. And whenever there is a chance of epidemics, you could repeat a second dose in adolescents at least 5 years after one dose has been given after 2 years of age. So please remember, this is a vaccine we should offer to our children. I don't say this is a vaccine which should be recommended or it should be promoted. But whenever a patient has completed most of our primary immunizations, there are definite patients in our practice who say, are there any more vaccines we need to give? Please remember, it is our duty as a healthcare professional to offer this vaccine after 9 months of age, because after 9 months of age, we have a good period between 9 months to 12 months when we have a window period to at least inform our parents that such a vaccine is available. You have to give 2 doses at the interval of 2 months. If give them the informed decision is our duty to explain them the risk, though it is a very rare disease, and it is up to them whether to accept it or not. But please tell them that there is a vaccine like this. In this COVID times, the acceptance of vaccination is increased to a great extent, and we can always ask our population to take this vaccine. So this is the summary of the Indian Academy of Pediatric regulation, or what is it, at 9 months, we can be given for children, especially with impaired immune system and lack of antibodies. Then the range of recommended age for high-risk children, we can give it in high-risk areas, for example, in the Northeast. Then it can be given to travelers and caregivers, where exposure to close and prolonged contact with carriers has happened. You understand, we all know that many patients who are adolescents and adults after graduation, when they go to the United States, there is always a requirement of other universities that they have given the meningococcal vaccine, because there are always about outbreaks in the hostels and overcrowding areas where they stay. Now, what is the experience in infants and toddlers? Now, men, we induces broad spectrum serotypin antibody titers, and it has been found it's a very good vaccine from 9 months to 55 years of age. And as I told you, 2 doses between 9 to 23 years of age. And after 55, a dose is allowed, or a 1 dose is enough. However, a second dose can be given 5 years later if the situation and the environment, there are outbreaks of patients in this patient. So to conclude, invasive meningococcal disease has low prevalence in India. I do say that there is a low prevalence, but lack of evidence does not mean lack of disease. Okay? But the possibility of outbreaks cannot be ruled out. It's a vaccine that should be offered. It is our duty as healthcare professionals to inform our parents that such a vaccine is available, and leave it to them whether to accept the vaccine. And the serogroup A has the predominance in India and causes outbreaks. That's why any vaccine that gives very good protection against serogroup A is what is advised. And Manitra scores over the competitive brand as far as the protection against serogroup A is concerned. Invasive meningococcal disease has 2 peaks of incidence, and it is only Manitra that can be given in children between 9 months to 23 months. Immunization against invasive meningococcal disease seems more logical approach to protect individuals starting from early years of life. The choice of vaccination should cater the peaks of age, which are 2, and should provide protection to maximum number of individuals. Vaccine should provide protection across all serogroups, particularly A, and has accepted safety profile in Indian population, where it has been studied at all the 4 corners of our country at very reputed teaching institutes in the Northeast, in Delhi, in Pune, and even in Bangalore and in the South. So with this, I am open for the audience to ask me any questions, any queries about the meningococcal disease as well as the vaccine. Thank you so much. And I hope I've finished in time. And
Yes, sir.
if there are any questions. Please let me know.
Hello, anybody has any questions? Sir, I want to ask you, what is the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on this meningococcal vaccination?
I'll tell you my experience,
regarding the
Ashok.
acceptance, schedule, and complications. And my second question is, when to give this vaccine if somebody is affected by COVID-19?
Okay. See, because of the COVID, now the acceptance of vaccination has increased to a very great extent. So, you know, what has happened is when you offer them some vaccines, I always tell them, see, there is no COVID vaccine. Look at what havoc this disease has, or this virus has created. So why not give the vaccine, or again, why not protect against diseases so if the vaccine is available? And I always tell them that these are rare. Meningococcus is extremely rare. I don't say it's not. But you know, its presence is definitely there, and it's an important vaccine to give if the patient is able to afford. So I always offer them, and I tell you, my experience is many of them do take. It all depends on how powerful you are able to counsel them and how you are able to convince them. Please remember, because, and what has happened with COVID, you know, when the patient gets admitted and the amount of, money they have to spend in hospitals, they find that the cost of vaccine of 4,000 and 5,000 rupees is far less. So the acceptance of any vaccine, which apparently used to appear very expensive, has increased a bit or increased a lot in these COVID times. Now, anybody who is affected with COVID should be allowed to recover from COVID. And, you know, we allow the patient to recover from COVID and find out there are no post-COVID complications. He's not into any acute inflammation or inflammation that occurs after COVID. And you can safely give this vaccine 2 to 3 months after he has recovered from COVID infection. Then the schedule of this is not affected by the COVID pandemic. So what is important for us is to give the vaccine to patients who are eligible. And secondly, most patients are now coming out. Now the incidence of COVID has come down to a great extent in all parts of the country. The population is now started coming with their children to our clinics, and most of the children are being vaccinated. So most of our OPD is now vaccination OPD. And, the acceptance of, vaccines which were probably not well accepted has increased a lot to a great extent because of the havoc with which, the COVID has shaken the whole country. And they have found out that whatever money we spend in vaccination is far better than what we spend when we have to manage the disease and its complications.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Ruchika?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for throwing light on such a rare and very
Hello,
important...
Ruchika.
Yes, sir.
Hello. So, I want to ask one question.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Yes, Hemant, go ahead.
Sir, in case of meningococcal infection, is there any recommendation for the family to take a vaccine?
Yes. It is not only recommended for the family, but suppose, yes.
Yeah. So, and period for this vaccination?
Hemant, there is, whenever there is a patient of meningococcemia, which has been diagnosed in the family, you have to give chemoprophylaxis. And very often it is ciprofloxacin, because you have to take care of, the nasopharyngeal carriage. And you can give the vaccine for about 28 days after the patient has recovered from the disease. So it is very important because there is a great chance of the family members getting meningococcemia. And for that, you have to give an antibiotic to them, very often ciprofloxacin, for all the adults that are in contact. And with patients who are, in children, you have to give amoxiclavulinic acid or ceftriaxone. But amoxiclavulinic acid is better because it is given orally. And in adults, you have to give ciprofloxacin. So this is the recommendation. And the vaccine can be given about 28 days after the patient has recovered from the disease itself. Because it's the nasopharyngeal carriage that is responsible for the disease in that occurs. But this is only when you have made a bacteriological diagnosis. But please remember, bacteriological diagnosis is very, very difficult in our country because these meningococcia are very, very fast organisms, and we do not get a bacteriological diagnosis. It is only possible by taking scrapings from the skin lesions, that is ecchymosis.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Any questions? Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.